Hi friends, Allie here. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet my Picot Bandana. This crochet bandana features beautiful texture that's easy to create and includes 3 sizes so you can make one for anyone. This bandana is the perfect warm weather accessory to protect your head from the sun, keep your hair back, or just to look cute. This pattern uses medium 4-weight yarn. I'll be using Lion Brand Yarn Color Theory, which is one of my favorites. There's a variety of gorgeous colors to choose from, and it's such a soft and durable acrylic yarn. If you wanted to make a lighter weight bandana, you could also use a thinner yarn and a smaller crochet hook. The best part about this pattern is you just keep repeating the 4-row repeat until you reach the size that you want, so you can use whatever yarn you'd like to get the drape you desire. If you like this pattern and the Picot single crochet stitch, I have so many more Picot patterns. I have headbands, a beanie, blankets, scarves, and so much more. So if you want to check out those tutorials later, I'll leave a link to my Picot playlist down below. You can find the free written crochet pattern for the Picot Bandana on my website, theturtletrunk.com, or if you want to follow along with the ad-free printable PDF, you can find it in my Etsy shop and on Ravelry. I'll leave links to all of those down below. Now let's head over to our size chart and supply list and let's get making. The Picot Bandana includes 3 sizes, but you can make yours any size by repeating rows 4 to 7 as many times as you'd like to get your desired size. I'll be making the size medium in today's video, but you can follow along no matter what size you're making. Any size can be made for anyone depending on what kind of coverage you'd like. So in the far left column, I wrote who I think each size is best suited for and what kind of coverage you'll get for each one. I'm going to pop up some photos of each size so maybe you can get a better idea of which one is best suited for you or whoever you're making one for. So the 2 photos on the left are of my 4-year-old in the size small and medium, and then the 2 on the right are of me in the medium and the large. The medium is a good standard size, great for kids and adults, while the large will offer more fuller coverage for adults, and the small will be best for babies or toddlers. Now let's check out our supply list and let's get started. For this tutorial, you'll need medium 4-weight yarn, a 5mm or H crochet hook, scissors, and a yarn needle. We're going to begin with a slip knot on our hook. And then we're going to chain 2. To work a chain, you're going to yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. For row 1, we are going to work 2 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So into that first chain we worked. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So we're going to work 2 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. Then we're going to chain 2 and work another 2 single crochets into that same chain. So that chain 2 in the middle is going to create the top point of our triangle. So you can see our triangle shape starting to form there. So you have a total of 6 stitches. So we're counting the 2 single crochets, the chain 2, and the 2 single crochets for a total of 6. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 at the beginning of each row does not count as a stitch, but we are going to count the chain 2 for the point of the triangle. So for row 2, we're going to work 2 half double crochets into the first stitch. To half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So we're going to work 2 half double crochets into the first stitch, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. And we're back at the top point of our triangle, so we are going to work 1 half double crochet, chain 2, 1 half double crochet all into the chain 2 from row 1. So just working into that chain 2 space, we're going to half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, and that's just going to help increase that top point. So it's going to keep the point of our triangle nice and sharp. And now we're working down the left side now. We're going to work 1 half double crochet into that next stitch. And then into the last stitch, we're going to work 2 half double crochets. So at the end of row 2, we have a total of 10 stitches. And there you can see our triangle. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're on to row 3, and for row 3, we're going to be working in the back loop only. So if you look at the top of your stitches, you'll see they form kind of a V shape. So the loop closest to you is the front loop, and the loop furthest away is the back loop. So we're going to be working in that back loop only, and that's going to create a kind of ridge on the front of our bandana. So working into the first stitch, in the back loop only, we're going to work 2 single crochets. So you can kind of see those stitches popping out, forming a ridge. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet in the back loop only, all the way across until we reach our chain 2 space at the top of our bandana. When we reach the chain 2 space, we're going to work 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, all into that chain 2 space. So there you can see that little ridge starting to form. Now working down the left side of our bandana, we are going to work 1 single crochet in the back loop only, all the way across until we have 1 stitch remaining. Then in the last stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets in the back loop only. So at the end of row 3, our total stitch count is now 14. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're on to row 4. And row 4 is where we're going to work our picot single crochet stitches. So we're going to start by working 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So these are just regular single crochets, so working in both the top loops. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch. And then in that next stitch, we're going to work a picot single crochet stitch. So you're going to insert your hook into that next stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook again, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook once more. So you have a chain 3 there on the left. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook, push that chain 3 to the back, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. So on the back, it doesn't look like much, but then when you turn your bandana over, this is going to be the front, the right side of our bandana. You can see that little picot single crochet stitch popping out. It's like a little mini bauble. So now we're going to picot single crochet into the next stitch. So I'll show you once again how to do that. So insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook for a second time, yarn over, pull through the first loop on your hook for a third time. So there we have a chain 3, then you yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook, push the chain 3 back, and single crochet into the next stitch. So there we have our second picot single crochet. And then we're going to work 1 more picot single crochet into the last stitch before our chain 2 space. So work another picot single crochet stitch. And then we're going to work a single crochet into the chain 2 space. And I'll just show you again what they look like on the front. So you can see just little tiny baubles. Add great texture. So continuing on in our chain 2 space, we are going to chain 2 to create the next space, single crochet into the same space, and now we're working down the left side of our bandana. So starting in that next stitch, we're going to picot single crochet. Then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. then picot single crochet into the next stitch, and we're just going to repeat that all the way across until one stitch remains. So single crochet into the next stitch, then picot single crochet into the second last stitch, and then into the last stitch of row 4, we're going to work 2 single crochets. So at the end of row 4, we have a total of 18 stitches. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're on to row 5. And for row 5, we're just going to work single crochets. So we're going to work 2 single crochets into the very first stitch, then 1 single crochet across until we reach our chain 2 space. So you might need to use your thumb to kind of push down the picot single crochets from the previous row if they get in your way. And then the stitches might be a little bit hard to see, but if you push down the picot single crochet stitches, you'll be able to see them there. So you always want to work a single crochet to the right of the picot single crochet, and then there'll be one hiding behind it. So we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across until we reach our chain 2 space. Then in the chain 2 space, we're going to work 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. Now working down the left side of our bandana, again, we're going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch across until 1 stitch remains, and then we'll work 2 single crochets in the very last stitch. So in the last stitch, I'm just going to work 2 single crochets, and then at the end of row 5, you should have a total of 22 stitches. And we're going to chain 1 and turn. And now on to row 6. For row 6, we're going to work 2 half double crochets into the first stitch. And then 1 half double crochet into each stitch across until we reach our chain 2 space. Then we're going to half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet into the chain 2 space. Then half double crochet into each stitch across the left side until 1 stitch remains. And we're going to work 2 half double crochets into the last stitch. At the end of row 6, our stitch count is now at 26. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and now on to row 7. For row 7, we're going to be working single crochets in the back loop only again. So just like we did for row 3, if you look at the top of your stitches, we're going to be working in that back loop only. So we're going to work 2 single crochets in the back loop only in that first stitch. then single crochet in the back loop only, all the way across until we reach our chain 2 space. In the chain 2 space, we're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then in each stitch across the left, we're going to single crochet in the back loop only, and each stitch across until 1 stitch remains. And then in the last stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets in the back loop only. At the end of row 7, our stitch count is now at 30. And now we're just going to keep repeating rows 4 to 7. So if you're making the size small, you're going to repeat rows 4 to 7 2 more times. For the medium size, you're going to repeat rows 4 to 7 3 more times. And for the large size, you're going to repeat rows 4 to 7 4 more times. I'll put a timestamp down below for where row 4 starts, so if you need to watch those rows again, you can just continue from there. So for the size small, you're going to be starting now on row 8, and you're going to go until the end of row 15. And then for the size medium, you're going to go until the end of row 19. And then for the large, you're going to go to the end of row 23. So you're just repeating the same 4 rows. So the next row is going to be row 8, and that's going to be repeating row 4, which is our picot single crochet row. So you're going to chain 1, turn, and then do the picot single crochet row, and then just repeat rows 4 to 7 as many times as your size calls for. And then I'm going to catch back up with you when we reach our last row, so either row 15, 19, or 23, depending on what size you're doing, and then I will show you how to do the border. So I'm going to leave you now and just keep repeating rows 4 to 7 until you reach the end for your size, and we will come back together and work on our border. So since I'm making a medium, I just finished row 19. So you should end on a single crochet in the back loop only row. And this is what our bandana should be looking like so far. If yours is smaller, you'll have 4 less rows. If yours is the larger size, you'll have 4 more rows. But now we are going to add a border, and we're going to do a pointed border. Now feel free to do any type of border that you'd like. If you like this straight edge, you can leave it as is, but I'm going to add a fun pointed border, just going to add a little bit more of an interesting look to our bandana. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Then we're going to work 2 single crochets into the first stitch. Then we're going to skip the next stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. So skip 1 and then single crochet into the next. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, and all into the next stitch after that, we're going to work 2 single crochets, chain 2, and work another 2 single crochets into that same stitch. So that's going to make a little point there. Just like so. Then we're going to skip the next stitch. And then we're going to repeat from where we started our single crochet. So we're going to single crochet, skip 1, then make our point. So we're going to work 2 single crochets, all in the same stitch, chain 2, another 2 single crochets in that same stitch, then skip 1, then single crochet into the next, skip 1, then work our point. So 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets, all in the same stitch. and then skip the next stitch, and then repeat from our single crochet. So single crochet, 1, skip 1, work our point, skip 1, and just continue repeating all the way across until we reach our chain 2 space. So I'm going to carry on and I'll catch back up with you when we reach our chain 2 space. So I'm just coming up to the chain 2 space. So I'm going to work my last point before the chain 2 space. There should be 1 stitch left, so we're going to skip that last stitch. Then into the chain 2 space, we're going to work 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet, all in the chain 2 space. And now we're working down the left side of our bandana. We're going to skip the next stitch. And then work a point in the next. So work 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets all into that same stitch. Then skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, skip the next stitch, then work another point, and we're just going to repeat from there. So work a point, skip 1, single crochet 1, skip 1, work another point, and we're just going to repeat that all the way down until we have 1 stitch left. So I'm just coming up to the last stitch. So I'm going to work 2 single crochets in the last stitch. And there is our pointed border. This is what it looks like on the front side. So it just adds a nice little decorative edge to it. And now we can add the ties. So we're going to leave our yarn attached. And we're going to add our ties. Now the ties you can make any length you want. We're just going to work a chain. So you can work any chain length that you want. Just make sure you remember how many you work so that you can do the exact same number on the other side. So I am chaining 21, and that gave me a strap length of about 6 inches. Now I wouldn't make it any smaller than that. I found that this was easy enough to tie, but there wasn't a lot of leftover length. So I think 6 inches or longer would be best. So 21 chains got me about 6 inches. So feel free to do that number or more. Now we're going to be working back into our chain, and instead of working through the top of the chain like you normally would, I'm going to be working in the back bump of the chain. So if you look at the back of your chain, you see that there's a loop kind of bumping out on the back. I'm going to be working through that, and that just gives a nicer look to the chain, I think. Feel free to work back through the chain as you normally would. If you don't mind that look, but this way I just think it gives it a really nice look. So starting in the second chain from the hook, working in the back bump, I'm going to loosely slip stitch across. You want to make sure that you're keeping it fairly loose so that you don't cinch up the chain at all. So just work 1 slip stitch loosely in the back bump of each chain across. So I'm just coming up to the last few chains. So this is what our first strap is looking like. I just think it has a nice look to it from working in the back bump. And now we're going to be working across the top edge of our bandana, and we're going to be using a twisted single crochet stitch. It's also known as the reverse crab stitch. This is a stitch I just learned how to do. I initially just used a single crochet stitch across the top edge, but since this bandana has so much texture, I thought the single crochet looked a little bit boring. So I found this stitch, which offers even more texture. So I think it's really fun to try. If you don't like the look of this stitch, or you'd rather just use a single crochet edge, feel free to do so, or just slip stitch across. Either way, I'll show you how to do the twisted single crochet stitch and show you what it looks like, and you can decide if you like it or not. So first of all, we're going to be working in the edge of each row across the top of our bandana. So I'm just going to try and grab the edge of the stitches. If there's any gaps, I'm going to try and work around them. If you work through any of those little holes, it's just going to make those holes look bigger. So I'm just going to start in the first row, and I want to make sure that the loop on your crochet hook is quite loose. And then I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and make sure that loop is loose on my hook as well. So I'm just going to pull up on it a bit. Then I'm going to rotate my entire crochet hook counterclockwise, yarn over, and pull through both loops on my hook. So we just worked a single crochet that has a twist in it, so hence the name Twisted Single Crochet Stitch. And then we're just going to do the same thing over and over again. So make sure the loop on your hook is loose, then working in the edge of the next row. Wherever you find a space that doesn't have a hole in it or anything, just grab the edge of the stitches, insert your hook, pull up a loop, make sure that loop is loose on your hook as well, then twist your entire crochet hook counterclockwise once, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. So you can kind of see it starting there. There's just like a little twist to the stitches there. So this is actually the back side of our bandana, so if we flip it around, you can kind of see it there too. It does have a little bit of a different look on the back side, but it still offers a really fun texture. So we're just going to repeat this across, working in the edge of each row, and just be very mindful of keeping the loops on your hook loose, because that's just going to make it way easier to twist and then to pull yarn through both loops on your hook. So I'm just going to do a couple more, and then I'll try and show you a better view so that you can see it and see if you like the look. So I'm trying to get a better view for you here so you can see a couple twisted single crochets there. So it just adds like a little twist to the edge. So this is going to be the right side of our bandana. So this side looks a little bit different than the back side, but it still has a really fun texture. So give it a try. It's really fun. It's an interesting stitch, and I think you could use it for so many things. And I think it just provides a really fun texture, fun edge to this bandana that's already full of so much fun texture. So give it a try. Let me know if you like it or not. If you don't, that's fine. Just do a regular single crochet all the way across. That's fine as well. So I'm just going to continue working this all the way across, and then I'm going to catch back up with you when I reach the end, and we'll make our other strap. So I'm just coming up to the end. I'm going to work just a regular single crochet in the very last stitch. And then there we go. There is our twisted single crochet edging. You can see it a little bit better now that it's all complete. And I just think this texture is really fun. I think it goes well with the rest of the bandana. So this is just the back side of it. So you can see the twist really well on this side. I'll flip it around so that you can see it on the right side of the bandana. So it looks a little bit different. It has almost more of like an X texture to it, but I think it still looks really great. And you can see that it just offers a little bit more than just a standard single crochet. I think it just adds a really nice, almost like rope look. So now we're going to work our second strap. So it's just going to be worked the same way we worked the first one. So we're going to chain 21. If you chained a different number for your first strap, just make sure that you work the same number as before so that they're the same length. So I'm going to chain 21. Then in the second chain from the hook, working in the back bump, we're going to loosely slip stitch and slip stitch into the back bump of each chain across. When you reach the end, we're just going to slip stitch into the top corner of the bandana. Then you can tie off your yarn, leave about a 4 to 6 inch long tail, long enough that you can weave it in. So I'm just going to cut my yarn here, then pull out my hook, and then I'm just going to weave in the ends that I have, making sure to work them on the wrong side of the bandana. And here is our finished Picot bandana. Thank you so much for following along. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, be sure to check out all of my other Picot patterns and tutorials. And if you want more free crochet patterns, I have a ton on my website, theturtletrunk.com, and you can find many more tutorials here on my YouTube channel, so be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.